Have you ever sat in a meeting and thought, my, this meeting is expensive? Well, I have. I have really thought this during CAB change advisory board meetings. Thought, this meeting sure feels expensive. Maybe you have thought the same. My name is Jeffrey T. Fertiller. I'm with Service Management Leadership. I've been through this many times. When I was over most of service management for a very large US firm, the CAB meetings were expensive, over $20,000 per CAB meeting. And that I had a big role. And I was thinking, how can I justify the expense for this? If we back up, I was hired, they put two jobs together, I guess to save money. Maybe they had faith in me, but I had enough control to think, how can I make some changes? Because $20,000 is an expensive CAB. Here's the math: 100 people, yeah, we sometimes had 200, but 100 people times $100 an hour, many were even more expensive than that, times 2 hours, 20,000. And we had these 3 times a week. And so one of the first things I did was I have to revamp the CAB. We had over 3,000 changes per month, and almost every one of them went through the CAB. I was like, this is ridiculous. How can we do this better, more efficiently? Because if you have everything going through the CAB, not only is it slowing down your low risk changes, it's also making it so that you cannot put the scrutiny you want on the high risk changes. And so organizations do this a lot, maybe not to this scale, $20,000 per CAB, but I know many that still do have very expensive CABs. But if you run everything through your CAB, that means your high risk changes and your low risk changes are all treated the same. And that's not really our purpose, is it? So I did two things. Two things. I increased standard changes dramatically. They went from roughly zero up to 70, 80% of our changes. What this did was it gave speed to the everyday low risk changes, and it got those changes out of the CAB, allowing us to shorten the CAB length and focus on the medium and high risk changes. The second thing I did was created daily local CABs for my two main stakeholder groups, specifically for changes that only impacted them. See, these groups had big internal, you could say shadow IT groups, but all changes came through us. But we still had to think, how can we make it better for them? So I created daily local CABs for those groups. They were ecstatic because it allowed them to have speed. They went from having a 4-day lead time to same day. Think about that. And if the change failed, it only impacted that group. So we were able to create speed. We were able to then, since we had the standard changes out of the CAB and these localized groups, their changes out of the CAB, we could increase our scrutiny on the high risk enterprise wide changes. We reduced the number of hours due to poor changes from 11,000, that's a lot, isn't it? Hours lost to 1,100. And it should have been 200. And I'll tell that story at a different time. But we were able to increase speed and increase scrutiny on the changes that needed it. And so stakeholders were ecstatic, and we fulfilled the purpose of the CAB to allow the higher risk changes to be scrutinized the way they needed to. And so I've been through this in many organizations, and I can help your organization do this better. Or if you have any questions, please contact me.